Good morning, San Diego. Coming to you from Fire Station 15 here in San Miguel. We're going to talk storm preparedness before Hurricane Hillary hits San Diego. That and so much more. I'm Bo Furtick. Good morning, San Diego starts right now.
This is Good Morning San Diego.
Good morning, San Diego. I'm Allie Wagner in for Casey McKinnon.
And I'm Jason Austell. It's Saturday, August 19th.
All right. Well, as you know, all eyes are focused on the weather. Let's take a live look outside this morning. Actually over in the mountains, bright and early this morning as I was getting ready for work, there was quite the lightning show that was going on over our mountains. And as we've been looking and following, our deserts have already been getting some of those rain showers. But obviously we are keeping an eye on what Hurricane Hillary is doing and how that's going to affect us here in San Diego, specifically tomorrow. But we're also going to have a number of conversations in this hour, including talking about San Diego high school football and flag football with the CIF Commissioner, Joe Hines. So looking forward to that conversation with him. It is the inaugural season of flag football. I know the PPR is covering that. But also, week one got underway literally Thursday, Friday, and games happening tonight. Of course, KUSI will have live coverage this evening of the Granite Hills Mission Hills game. That starts at 6 p.m., so stay tuned right here on KUSI for that.
And we're going to get a Lahaina update, and there's a benefit concert. Elima Leigh McFarland and Natalie Ficara are going to be here to talk to us about that. Well, Hurricane Hillary is approaching the Southern California coast, and parts of San Diego County are under a tropical storm warning.
Joining us now to talk about the approaching storm is Congressman Darrell Issa. Good morning, Congressman. Thank you for joining us. Can you talk us through a little bit about what you are hearing and how we are preparing as a county here in San Diego?
Well, thank you. And, this is one of those things where it may be a once-in-a-century event, but at the same time, it's really an event that we know how to plan for. We know when there's any emergency, make sure you review your supplies. We know when there's high winds, be aware that power lines could be down at some point. And of course, most importantly, if you've got things in the backyard, like lawn furniture, let's get it inside, let's get it strapped down. Let's prepare for 50 to 70 to 80 mile an hour winds, something we're not normally used to here. And of course, if you're in a flood zone or a possible flood zone, you need to start really taking those preparing, including a possible evacuation. But those are the important things. For us on the coast, unless you're right on the coast, we're probably simply going to have a great thunder and lightning and rainstorm event with relatively high winds. But if you're inland, some of my desert districts and some of my border districts, you need to be aware that high winds can lead to flooding. And that means that, for example, don't plan on being out on the road because roads can and do get washed out when you get 2 or 3 inches of rain in a short period of time.
Yeah, and we saw, of course, the Navy announcing last night that they were moving several of the ships out to sea in order to keep them safe as well.
Absolutely. The last thing we need is for ships to be banging up against their piers. It's damage to both the pier and to the ship, and it's avoidable. That's the one nice thing about our large fleet. Now, for smaller boats, we really do have a concern because there's no question at all that down in the harbor, Oceanside, San Diego, and so on, you need to really ask, can my boat get out of the water? Can my boat be more safe in the water? Can I double tie it down? Those questions for all of those who have marine assets, a small craft particularly, are going to be a concern. Again, though, let's plan that the most important thing is that you not be out on the road, that you not put yourself in a situation in which you need to be somewhere late tonight or at least until we know that the storm is somewhat past.
Darrell, are you in D.C. right now or are you here in the county?
No, I'm here in the county. This is whenever you see that backdrop, I'm probably at my desk. So, no, I'm going to remain here through this period of time. I've been out to East County. I've been up to Marietta, sort of meeting with the first responders there. And for all of us, we have to remember the first responders are doing the opposite of what we're doing. They're actually leaving their homes and planning to be at work, on call, and on the road is needed, because there's no question, EMTs are still called out no matter what the weather is and so on. That's the other reason to stay off the road, is that congestion would be the worst enemy if you have high winds and flooding.
You mentioned your desert communities, the desert district. Just looking at the radar right now, man, they're getting hammered. Have you heard from anybody recently in the last hour or two?
Well, as far as the Salton Sea, yes, they are getting, in that area, they're getting more rain than they need to get. Anza Borrego is seeing rain for the first time in a long time. When I talk to people in Alpine, they say they're doing okay, and that so far it's a nothing burger, but it's still early. And remember that this storm may not cross with the highest rain until tomorrow afternoon. But if it starts raining and stays raining at a high rate for, let's say, 10 hours, there are things that happen that we're not used to. One of them, of course, is trees that are used to dry soil, but they lean, often fall. And so that's something we see as the water saturates the soil, is that trees fall, power lines get down. And again, it's one thing to lose power. It's another thing to be near a live power line. And so for all of us, let's remember that everything you do today is in preparation to not have to go anywhere tomorrow, unless you're in an area that needs to evacuate. So again, I love a lot of places, but I'm not planning on suggesting Legoland tomorrow, or for that matter, the Wild Animal Park. It's time for us to plan a staycation at home.
I appreciate that you went by the old name there.
Yeah,
the
totally.
Wild Animal Park.
It'll always be the Wild Animal Park to us.
I know. All right, Congressman Darrell Issa, we appreciate you joining us this morning, giving everybody an update. I think at this point, best to just be prepared.
Be prepared. Boy Scout motto.
That's right.
Love the Viper poster, the original.
Yep.
It's an oldie.
Yes, I can see.
All right,
thanks, Darrell.
Thanks, Congressman. All right, well, county officials are urging San Diegans to brace for Hurricane Hillary as the storm is making its way towards the county.
Bo Fertig is live at San Miguel Station with tips on how you can stay safe, keep all your stuff safe, and yourself during this time. Hey, Bo.
Hey, Bo.
Good morning, guys. That's right. Storm preparedness is the key to success here. Explained quite in very few words, but a lot of words as well from Chief Chris Bernard. Let's talk about that again. Just go over the preparedness and what people can do.
I think everybody needs to be prepared to be on their own for 3 days, 72 hours. So make sure you have your medications and some type of a plan to eat. You can see the items behind us. We have a plan to feed our crews for 3 days with no help. Make sure your vehicle's got fuel. Make sure you've got a generator that's all set to go. And make sure your house is fortified. Excuse me, darn it. If you need to have boarded up windows to protect them from the winds, we should get a lot of rain. Predictions are up to 10 inches in the mountains and then scaled down as it gets down here. But the flooding is a real issue that we're going to have. So wind, rain, anticipate power lines being down. You're going to have a lot of running water. Please stay out of the water. If you see water with your vehicle, turn around, go the other way. Every year we get people trapped. They have to be rescued. And I'm just going to ask you, please don't become part of the problem. We need to be there for the people that, get in trouble and need our help right away.
It sounds like we're going to have more hands-on with this storm approaching.
That's correct. We have 3 fire engines, at least for San Miguel. The entire county went out to help fight the Coyote fire. They're actually en route back here to district. We're going to repurpose those apparatus, turn them around, refresh the crews, and then they'll be on as extra crews in San Miguel. Every other fire district, the fire departments in the cities are doing the same thing. We're being prepared.
And the application people can go to for the being prepared.
San Diego Emergency, SD Emergency. Download it from the App Store. It's got all kinds of great information, some of the things I just said, and a lot more.
And any last words? You've been, Chief didn't even know he was going to do this here today, woke up out of bed, got the call as usual, right? Any other words that people should be aware of?
I would just ask you to be prepared. Listen to the broadcasts either on any type of communication, your iPad, iPhones, television. KUSI's done a fantastic job. Listen to what the professionals are telling you. Don't become part of the problem. Be prepared to be on your own for 72 hours.
Thank you, Chief. And, because he was willing to sacrifice his time as he does every day, we also want to give a shout out. We had a story about a month or two ago about your son, Brent. He is currently in remission. To give an update, things are looking really well. And give the folks back at home an update on your son, because I know it's a great story.
He had cancer that he's 40 years old, firefighter for the city of San Diego. And one day he's at a fire, the next day he's in a cancer center with a big tumor in his belly. And he's had very aggressive chemotherapy. And the oncologist about 2 weeks ago declared that he's in remission. So it's just a blessing. We believe it's a miracle.
Yeah. So. These are people putting their lives on the line day after day, night after night. And Chief was telling me off camera where, they could be midnight, dead asleep, and then all of a sudden wake up and be on someone, pumping life into someone's chest 4 minutes later. So these ladies and gentlemen go through a lot on a day-to-day basis, and we have them to thank for not only being prepared, but saving our lives as well. We'll send it back to you guys at the desk.
Yeah, and some really great tips for people to get prepared today. We appreciate that, Bo.
Thanks, Bo.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, girls flag football has come to San Diego. After the break, we'll talk about the CIF season for both high school football and its flag counterpart.
And make sure that you stick around for KUSI's full coverage of high school football. And we're talking about live coverage tonight. Mission Hills taking on Granite Hills. That starts at 6 p.m., so keep it right here on KUSI. We'll be right back after this.
It's getting darker.
Yeah. Well, Hurricane Hillary is approaching the Southern California coast, and parts of San Diego County are under a tropical storm warning.
Earlier this morning, we spoke with legendary weatherman and KUSI icon Dave Scott on the incoming storm and its significance, and here's what he had to say about it.
It's significant because this really now is going to be something that is going to be talked about for years to come in San Diego weather. Now, here's what's going to happen. As Hillary approaches, it is going to be spinning in and moving from the south to the north through the county. As it does, it's going to rotate around. And as that moves to the north, those bands are going to be moving in. Not only a lot of rain, first of all, in the desert areas, which we're getting there today, but also strong winds. And as it moves further north, and especially into tomorrow morning, those winds are going to be coming in very strong from the southeast. In the morning hours, the winds are going to be coming from the southeast because that tropical storm is going to be getting closer to us. Right now, it's still a Category 4, so it is yet to weaken. And when it moves by, it's going to be moving much faster than it is now. I think it's moving at about northwest at about 12 miles per hour. it's going to be picking up speed and get into 20, 25 to 30 miles per hour. It's going to be moving by rapidly. And what's going to happen is those winds are going to spin. And as they do and move north, they're going to be coming in. The winds around Lindbergh Field are going to be starting here from the southeast, and then when they wrap in, coming back in from the west. So they're going to go from east in the morning to westerly winds, and those winds are going to be strong.
The hurricane is expected to make a full ascent into the county beginning in the early hours of Sunday.
All right. With that, obviously, Dave Scott kind of broke some of it down for you, but let's take a look at your weather this morning as, yes, you're seeing those clouds start to kind of move in here. 70 degrees currently downtown, humidity at 89%. Now, our temperatures around the county, they've warmed up just slightly. You're looking at 72 degrees in Oceanside, 65 in Coronado, 73 in El Cajon, 81 in Ramona, 84 out in Borrego Springs, where they're already getting some rain. Now, we've talked about this. The speed has picked up just slightly for Hillary. So they are expecting now that this is going to come along to San Diego more towards Sunday morning through Sunday evening. That's the time frame when we're going to see more of an impact along with slightly weaker winds. As we look at this future cast, you're getting an idea here. We're going to start to see some rain in our county at 11 a.m. Most of the county will see rain at 5 p.m. with some of those stronger cells, of course, in the mountains and deserts. Then as we head through into Sunday morning, you're seeing some of those strong cells really coming through Sunday. And then this is 4 a.m. on Monday, where it looks like most of it has gone through, which keep in mind on Monday, we have the start of San Diego Unified, as well as many of the community colleges that are starting school today. Now, there is that tropical storm warning that is in effect. First time San Diego has seen one of those. And the winds are something that we're keeping an eye on. Of course, with a tropical storm, you would expect, yes, rain, but winds that could be 35 to 45 miles per hour with gusts up to 60 miles per hour. So we're keeping an eye on those. There is the flood watch that is in effect. That's going to be a lot of, you just heard Daryl Issa talking about it, in our desert communities, the mountain communities where you have those flood watches that are in effect. Now, the rain totals, the supercast, we are seeing that obviously through Sunday into Monday, we're going to have some pretty incredible amounts when you're looking at 9 inches in Borrego Springs, up to 5 inches or so in Mount Laguna, 2.5 perhaps in Escondido. And once again, these are projections for what it could look like. Along the coast, as you know, a little bit of rain tonight, and then of course tomorrow, and then tapering off on Monday, and then we'll return to the mid to high 70s as we go through the week. Inland, of course, you're seeing the same, those chances for rain and winds on Sunday, and then Monday tapering off, and then low to mid 80s, and then in the mountains, of course, that's where they're expecting a lot of this, mountains and the desert areas. So that's what we're seeing as your weather. Keep in mind, we do have, of course, live coverage of the football game between Granite Hills and Mission Hills that is happening this evening at 6 o'clock. We're also keeping an eye on this. We're going to have Diane Tuazon in tomorrow and Mark Mathis as well. So we will have this covered for you. All right, joining me now to talk all about San Diego High School football and this year's inaugural season of girls flag football is the commissioner for the CIF San Diego section, Joe Hines. Good morning, Joe. We got you up this morning, bright and early.
Nope, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, you know what? It was a fun way to start the season yesterday. So let's talk about how things went yesterday. And of course, we've got a big game tonight as well.
Yeah, it went great. Very happy to get our football season up and rolling. Football is, and all of our fall sports are full back in swing and starting to create a lot of excitement. We'll have most of our schools back in session here next week. And so we are just up and rolling with fall sports and excited to get them going.
All right. Now, I do know, you're talking about KUSI televising the Mission Hills Granite Hills game tonight. That's obviously a big one. You have a nationally televised game happening next week with Carlsbad. Just talk about the level of these players. I mean, they're so good that San Diego really has a spotlight on the football scene here.
Yeah, definitely. Ali is highlighting the level of football that's being played here in the San Diego section. It's great. We're very excited to have that. I'm always excited to have a chance to have news media and our games broadcast live, not just here at the San Diego local level, but on the national level. That just says something about not just what's happening on the field of play, but with our coaches and all the work that's being put in. It's an exciting time for football here in San Diego County.
Now, I know with that, I mean, it can also be said that you're looking at games on Thursday, you're looking at games on Saturday because there has been such a ref shortage. I mean, we've seen this last year and this year that you guys are really looking for people to step up and referee these games.
Yeah, it's a challenge in all sports, Ali, but especially in the sport of football. It's just with the number of referees that you have working in every contest, it's a challenge. And so we've been collaborating with our officials association. They've been doing a great job working on the recruitment and retention of officials and especially new officials. And so, again, it's going to be something that's an ongoing process for us to continue to support them, ongoing work from their association. And like I mentioned, not just football. This is an issue that's affecting all of our different sports across this section. So again, it's multiple factors, but it's a national push, national movement to get out there and recruit more, especially younger age adults that come on board and be part of the officiating too. Again, games can't go on without officials, so lots of work to be done, but it's a collaborative process for all of us to ensure our kids have a quality officiating out there every week.
Yeah, definitely. And then, of course, we want to talk about the inaugural season of girls flag football. You guys have so many teams that have already popped up around the county just to start this season.
That's exciting. It's exciting, Ali. We've got right now about 44 teams. We have 6 different conferences participating. That's not only all in here in local San Diego, but out in our Imperial Valley, the teams that are part of our section. So it's great, better than anticipated, to be honest with you. It's very exciting across the state. Most sections from here all the way up to the Oregon border across our different 10 sections across the state are all offering it. Here in San Diego, we're getting it going. It's been a slow start, a little bit, kind of a rollout when we started beach volleyball a couple years ago, very similar. It's something very new, but it's building a lot of excitement. And at this point in time, we have enough teams and enough conferences participating to not only play our regular season, but to actually have our inaugural CIF Girls Flag Football Championships here in the fall. That'll coincide with the co-ed football championship. So it's going to be great.
Wow. I think that shows you how much interest that there is that you're able to already offer that. That doesn't always happen when you start up a new sport, right?
It does not. Yeah, there's some bylaws that talk about the number of teams and conferences that participate for us to be able to even offer a section championship, and we've exceeded that. So it's going to be great. And just seeing the excitement on campus, and the excitement with the girls is just what interscholastic education-based athletics is all about.
Well, Joe Hines, we appreciate you joining us, and of course, we're looking forward to tonight's game, and of course, season 25 of the Prep Pigskin Report. You got to give a little kudos to Paul Rudy and what he has done to highlight kids over the years. Him and Brandon Stone really doing fantastic work of putting them on TV and allowing them the opportunity to see themselves on the TV screen.
Ali, you're 100% right. Haven't seen it anywhere like that anywhere in the country here. They do a phenomenal job, and just again putting students first and shining on all the hard work they do, the coaches do, and all the schools and communities out there supporting them. It's an incredible thing, and it's hard to believe it's been 25 years. I'll be honest with you.
I know. It's amazing. Paul Rudy looks exactly the same, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah, he does. He sure does.
That's awesome. All right, Joe Hines, thanks for joining us, and don't forget to stay tuned. Tonight, 6 p.m., we will have the live game between Mission Hills and Granite Hills, so tune in for that. Thank you so much, Commissioner.
Be a great one. Thank you, Ali.
Well, coming up, the latest on the special election for the District 4 County Supervisor. Earlier, we spoke with candidate Amy Reichert on the race and the future runoff election. Her remarks, we'll have that coming up. And make sure that you stick around. KUSI's full coverage of high school football. If the weather, if it holds up, KUSI will bring you live coverage as the Eagles take on Mission Hills. We'll be right back after this. This is a video of Moonlight Beach up in Encinitas, where obviously the surfers taking advantage of that swell that is coming our way. So
A little bit of a push.
a little bit of a push out there, and I have a feeling that, yeah, you're going to see a lot of our surf spots very busy today and probably after the storm as well. Even though, of course, they tell you not to go into the water for 72 hours,
Yeah,
but if
right.
there's good surf, I don't know if that rule applies.
Game changer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
All right, now to the latest on the special election for District 4 County Supervisor.
There are still approximately 3,000 outstanding votes. The next update is expected Monday by 5 p.m. City Council President Pro Tem Monica Montgomery Stepp remains in the lead with 41.5% of the vote. Behind her is Reopen San Diego Amy Reichart. She has almost 30% of the vote. Those two will likely go head-to-head in the runoff election. And then behind the two of them is Janessa Goldbeck with almost 25% of the vote, as well as Marine veteran Paul McQuigg, who has about 4% of the vote. Now, earlier this morning, I spoke with candidate Amy Reichart about the race and the future runoff election.
Voters have an opportunity to take San Diego County in a new direction. Crime and homelessness have gotten out of control, and we must fix it. I'm going to bring people together to find solutions so that San Diego is the best possible place to live. My campaign has knocked on over 10,000 doors in just a very short period of time, and what voters are telling me is they are sick and tired of what they're seeing in the city of San Diego, and they want to take this county in a different direction. We cannot afford to continue with our homelessness crisis and our rise in crime. We have to support our Sheriff's Department, and we have to make sure that they are properly staffed so they can protect San Diegans. It changes everything. People really do have a very clear choice to make. What we're seeing in the city of San Diego is not a model for the rest of the county or the nation. San Diego has become a disaster with its policies, and what people are telling me from District 4 are they're sick and tired of being told by the city of San Diego that they are responsible for fixing their own crumbling sidewalks. Public sidewalks. They're being told that they have to pay to fix them. So here's the thing. If you can't even fix a pothole in a city, no way should you be in charge of the county. There's another clear choice that people have to make. My platform has been shelter first with treatment and also accountability. We have to hold the state of California accountable for the billions of dollars that they have wasted while the problem has only gotten worse. And we also have to lovingly, with compassion, hold people accountable, because it is not compassionate to allow people to sleep and die on our streets. Also, we have to protect our schools and small businesses. People from the community are telling me, and I just got an email last night from a constituent who said they were physically attacked by somebody in their own neighborhood who is homeless. And people want a better solution that results in better lives and treatment for those who are struggling with severe mental illness and severe addiction. And I'm absolutely a big believer in treatment.
Again, Amy Reichart will face City Council President Pro Tem Monica Montgomery Stepp in the runoff election that is set to take place in November. We have reached out to Montgomery Stepp for an interview, and we are waiting for her reply. All right, thousands will gather in NTC Park at Liberty Station today to run for injured veterans and their families.
Warriors, friends, family members, and caretakers from across the country come to San Diego every year for Carry Forward, a 5K aimed at raising funds for post-9/11 veterans. KUSI spoke with Eden Carr, the director of fundraising events for the Wounded Warrior Project, for details behind the event.
The Wounded Warrior Project, our mission is to honor and empower wounded warriors who basically served post 9/11. So anybody that has a visible, invisible illness, injury, or wound, that's the population we want to serve. It is fundraising to support programs and services dedicated to this community and to their families. They never pay a penny for any of our programs, and we want to assist them with physical and mental health, financial well-being, independence, and actually connecting with supporting communities like right here in San Diego. So we fundraise so that they don't pay a penny for those services. Well, we do have mental and physical well-being services. We have financial readiness. We have Warriors to Work, which assists in resume preparation and engaging in finding employment. So it's really engaging and empowering these veterans who served our country.
The race will kick off this morning at NTC Park at Liberty Station. It already started, in fact, at 8 this morning.
For more than a decade, a local festival has celebrated one of America's most famous writers.
The 14th annual Mark Twain Festival is hosted by Write Out Loud, a group dedicated to sharing literature with all ages. The festival celebrates all 19th century authors, not just Mark Twain. It also highlights the culture of the time with games and live performances. Kids can even learn quarterstaff fighting with Little John and Robin Hood. KUSI spoke with the artistic director to talk about the Twain Fest that's happening today.
We have a lot of arcade activities, and one of the things we have is the election of 1872. And you come up and you have to take a test in order to vote. And well, I won't give it away, but it might be trickier if you're a woman. It's experiencing those literary figures as if they were there with you. So they're telling you about their lives and themselves and their ideas, and they recite some of their work. And it's a lovely little experience, and it's in a nice little cozy shaded garden.
The celebration is happening today, and you can register at the website on your screen.
Well, the Rock Church, along with Liberty Station, are honoring our active duty military community and their families today.
KUSI heard from the Rock Church to learn more about the event.
This Saturday, August 19th, we're teaming up with Liberty Station again. This is our 5th year doing it, and we're hosting it at the old Naval Training Center in Point Loma, and we're inviting 500 active military families in this community, and we're providing a free family event. And when I say free, everything's free. So free backpacks, free food, free clothes, free diapers, free haircuts.
Wow.
We're partnering with Riggins Urban Barber College, and they're providing 50 barbers to give 50 haircuts.
And this is all...
barbers, yeah. We're teaming up with Liberty Military Housing, and they have access to hundreds of active military families. So when they started promoting this event, a lot of the families were like, hey, we can use an extra blessing. Yeah. Like I mentioned, the haircuts, we're giving free haircuts. Haircuts nowadays are like $20, $30. So if you have 2 or 3 kids, that's like $60. So if you're out there and you're a viewer and you're like, hey, I could use this extra blessing, please go to our website, scrock.com/back-to-school and register.
It means a lot. It just shows that, that we're not forgotten. Most people, we're unsung heroes. Once we take off the uniform, we look like just a normal average person. So just knowing that the community cares and then they're giving back for free things such as haircuts and, all these other resources, it really means a lot. And as Pastor was mentioning with the haircuts, there are some haircuts that go for $50, believe it or not. And so those children getting that could be just a good relief for the parents and just letting them know that they have resources and they're being thought of, and just leaves an impression, and it makes them, just like me, want to give back and do the same thing also.
All right, once again, the Military Heroes event that kicked off today just about a half hour ago. Well, coming up after the break, Hurricane Hilary is making its way towards San Diego County. We'll have a look at your forecast amid the arrival of the storm. We'll have that coming up next.
And make sure you stick around for KUSI's full coverage of high school football. If the weather's good tonight, KUSI is going to take you live as the Eagles take on Mission Hills. We'll be right back.
You know, in the 90s, you know, you were in these punk rock bands.
I do. Yeah.
Right.
You had to fight for that case of beer, believe me.
And that was probably fun, right?
You're arguing with Rick DeVoe every night. Like, come on, dude. It's just a warm 12-pack of Natty Light.
All right. And then
Get that.
It was Lucky Lager. I remember those
and
days.
then you kind of graduated and you remember the Foo Fighters. And now you're playing with 10,000 people, playing for
10,000. That's a bad night.
And playing for 20,000 people.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen you play like for 100,000 people.
Yeah, there you go.
Now,
The rider gets exponentially better.
but my mom, when I see you guys, you know, somewhere,
You guys know
around
where
the
this is
world,
going, right?
and you're playing for like 100,000 people.
Watch.
My question is, so at the end, does like Dave write out a check to everyone?
Like you can see it coming.
You know him really well.
But how does that? I mean, how does that work without saying figures, or if you want?
I mean, I can't get into all the details.
But for example, how much money do you have in your pocket right now?
We do have an accountant. Yeah, it's not Dave with his checkbook. All right, well, here you go, buddy.
It's a brand new episode of On the Air with Sully, Little Tommy, this morning at 11 a.m. So it's coming up here in just a little bit. This week's episode features Foo Fighters guitarist Chris Shiflett, Star 94.1 Jesse Lozano, current manager of the Sully Band Rick DeVoe, and San Diego radio legend Mike Halloran. Why can't I say it? Okay, I'm going to get it. Halloran. I'll say it 12 times fast. All right.
All right, Hurricane Hillary will also have an impact on flight conditions, causing expected delays and cancellations. Earlier this morning, we spoke with former Navy pilot and retired FedEx pilot Norm Walker about what can be expected.
You get a forecast before you go flying, and you look it over and you try to figure out, you know, what to expect when you get to where you're going or where you're taking off from. If you're flying into bad weather, you might put on extra fuel for possible divert or holding, waiting for weather to clear or something like that. But other than that, arriving, you just kind of real time it. I mean, just when you get there, the weather is either good enough to land or it's not. And if it's not, you can consider diverting. Here, you might go up to Los Angeles, Ontario, Phoenix, something like that. So there's different versions, but you fly down to what they call minimums, which is either a barometric altitude or a radar altitude, and you fly a precision approach or a localizer approach or a non-precision approach, or whatever approach it is. You fly it down to minimums, and at that point, you make a decision whether you either land or go around. And if you see the runway and everything looks good, and then you can continue, of course. If you got really gusty winds, you could still, could get ugly from there. But that's usually once you got the runway in sight, that's 99% of the deal. I flew above a typhoon in South China Sea once. We were at 33,000 feet, and we were actually above it. It was kind of fun looking at it down there, but it depends on how high they go. I mean, if it's really high, you just go around it. If you're scheduled to show up and try to make it work, if that's what you want, I mean, and your pilot should make good decisions, and if you get delayed, just grin and bear it, because somebody's going to get delayed and some aren't. So,
yeah, but it's a fast mover, so there's hope.
Yeah, like I said, if you put on extra fuel, some airports you could hold for 20 minutes and land. Yeah. And then that'd be fine.
Travelers are being advised to check their flights ahead of time and be prepared for delays. I know some flights out of Sacramento to San Diego were canceled. Not sure if that's to do with the weather or anything else, but
I don't know. Just be prepared.
Exactly. That has literally been the phrase of the day.
Yep.
All right, let's get a check of your weather today. Of course, we are waiting for Hillary to head this way. Currently 69 degrees downtown, humidity at 89%. You're looking at 72 degrees currently in Oceanside, 67 in Del Mar, 65 in Coronado, 71 in Jamul, 73 in Alpine, 75 in Escondido, 65 Palomar Mountain, 66 in Julian, and 85 in Borrego Springs. Now, we've talked about it all day. Of course, at this point, you probably know that, yes, they are expecting that Hurricane Hillary is going to head our way. Sped up a little bit, slight shift eastward in its track. So that means that Sunday morning through Sunday evening will be the time frame for most impact, along with slightly weaker winds. Now, of course, they are expecting for the storm to turn from a hurricane back into a tropical storm here as it hits Baja and then into San Diego. So as we're looking at the future cast, it looks like obviously we've been following. There's been some rain out in our deserts already, but you are going to start to see the rain around the county, some places at 11 a.m., most of the county at 5 p.m., and then, of course, overnight heading into the morning hours. Now, this is at 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. You have some of those stronger cells that are going through. And then, of course, Sunday around midday in the afternoons, you saw some of those really powerful cells that'll go through. And then by Monday, it's looking like it should taper off. So once again, we have that tropical storm warning that is in effect. And clearly the waters, you're going to see that high surf. Tropical storm force winds are possible the next 48 hours. That'll affect a whole bunch of San Diego County. Peak wind forecast is looking at anywhere between 35 and 45 mile per hour winds with gusts up to 60 miles per hour. And that should happen tomorrow. And then, of course, the flash flood watch is in effect for San Diego County, as well as our deserts and mountains. The rain totals supercast. This is what they're looking at here. That we're going to see quite a bit of rain in our deserts, in our mountains. I mean, you're talking about 9 inches in Borrego Springs, 5+ inches in Mount Laguna, 4 inches in Julian. And we'll see as it goes throughout the county what kind of rain we get. Now, of course, as you look at the 7-day forecast here, tomorrow is what we're expecting when Tropical Storm Hillary will be moving through San Diego County. We will be here with you tomorrow, as well as Diane, and then Mark will be here as well. So we're keeping our eye on this as, of course, the rain will be coming our way. And then by the time you hit the tail end of the week, you're looking at mid-80s in the inland areas, and in the mountains as we hit the end of the week, you'll see high 70s, and in the deserts, it'll look like triple digits again by the time you get to the end of the week. But of course, our focus is on Hurricane Hillary and what it will bring here to San Diego. All right, the U.S. Navy announcing late last night that they plan to send several warships out of San Diego Bay today before Hillary comes to the region.
Ships will be leaving Naval Base San Diego, Naval Base Coronado, and Naval Base Point Loma throughout the day. This making it easier to manage and secure vessels that have to stay in port. The bases are home to more than 50 surface ships, including 3 aircraft carriers and 4 nuclear-powered submarines. The ones that are relocated during the storm will remain at sea until inclement weather subsides.
And in addition to those being moved, you're also seeing the Padres game that's being moved. So the team announcing that they'll play a split doubleheader today ahead of the torrential rains. This after Sunday's schedule was swapped in preparation for the storm. So the Padres will now play the Arizona Diamondbacks today at 12:10 and then again at 5:40. Ticket holders for Sunday's game can use them for that early noon game today. And then the 5 o'clock game, obviously everybody who has tickets for that, maybe bring a poncho.
Good idea. Yeah. All right, the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club has canceled its Sunday race car due to safety concerns over the upcoming tropical storm in Southern California.
President of the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club, Josh Rubenstein, stated that the decision was made in order to prioritize the safety of everyone involved. That includes horses, riders, workers, staff, and fans. Del Mar officials have decided not to reschedule the races, but instead they will incorporate the planned races into different days over the coming weeks.
A virtual concert will be held tomorrow, all to benefit the people of the island of Maui, specifically Lahaina.
After the break, we'll be speaking to former Lahaina resident Natalie Ficara on tomorrow's big event and the updates that are happening in Maui. We'll have that when we return.
Welcome back, everybody. There's a benefit concert being held tomorrow to help the people in Lahaina, the people of Maui, specifically the Lahaina area. We're joined by Natalie Ficara. You're a former resident of Lahaina,
yes.
right? Okay, and you've put this all together?
Well, man, a lot of other people. Oh, this is a huge collaboration effort.
Tell us about it.
Okay, yeah. Elima McFarland, she is the creator of Nawahi Toa. Sprung into action right away. We created a benefit, got a bunch of donations. Clearly overwhelming with 13 containers from Pasha, Hawaii, and all that over there. But that's enough. They've got plenty. Now it's time for monetary donations, and so there's benefits popping up. Our one on Sunday is postponed, but we are going to do it virtually. So if you can, log on to eliminator.com/Maui, and there'll be an embedded link, and we're going to go to town and do something there. So if the weather's like this, you can still stop by. And what we have are these QR codes where you can actually come up and donate directly to the families if you don't want to donate to,
a general fund.
A general fund, yeah. So these are all vetted Lahaina impacted residents. And we also have, those are GoFundMes, and then we have Venmo accounts here, a whole book. And unfortunately, there's a lot more than this. There's hundreds more than this, hundreds.
Do these represent people who've lost their homes?
Yes.
Okay.
Homes, businesses, their family members, all directly impacted. And,
right.
It's extremely frustrating. We work really, really hard for our money. And, just this week, our federal government decided to send $200 million to Ukraine, and President decided to send $700 checks to a whole family. It's maddening that we have to not only pay our taxes for that, and then we're going to come out and we're going to work our butts off to support the families in need in real time. I went and checked the governor's Instagram today, and he decided to tell people not to go to Instagram for information, but I did go to his, and everything that he had been saying is the complete opposite of what my friends who are born and raised in Lahaina have been saying. So, no, National Guard was not there right away. There was maybe 60 young people that didn't know what they were doing. FEMA, they were all my friends that applied were rejected. They don't have insurance. My friends who own businesses, no insurance. Homes, no insurance. So this is what this is for, because a lot of their homes and businesses were paid off and they have liability, but so this is what this is for. There's so much more to come, mental health issues, guidance in legal guidance, but there's a lot to come out, especially with water. Where did that go? We need all these questions answered.
We need to step up where the government will not.
Exactly.
It sounds like
everything has been done by the community. All of the centers, distribution centers, what's in the distribution centers all came from crowdsourcing from the community. So that's,
Yeah. Okay. So when and where can we see this virtual concert and donate?
So it's still at Ramana Fitness in Claremont and Balboa. But yeah, you can log on, you can still swing by if the weather's nice. And just log on, donate to Eliminator Foundation, or come and we'll figure out how to get these QR codes up. But like I said, there's a lot more coming. And we're going to reschedule our benefit, the big one that we had scheduled for tomorrow.
And we'll have you back.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'm sure I'll have more fiery updates. And the people of Maui just want answers. And if you really want to know where to go on social media, Kai Lenny is with Tulsi Gabbard on the ground, Tiare Lawrence, Archie Kalepa, the Jeremy Reporter. Those people are on the ground, grassroots, and they'll tell you what's really happening. Okay.
Natalie Ficara, thanks a lot, Natalie.
Yeah,
appreciate all, and you've been working so hard for your fellow.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm from Buffalo, New York, and that's a city of good neighbors. Joined the military. I moved to Maui. I live in San Diego, so I'm only surrounded by in-action people. And so this is all we know how to do is just
And you're doing a
support.
great job. Thanks, Natalie.
You got it.
All right, we'll be right back with more Good Morning San Diego. Boy, all that rain we had and the snowpack and the runoff, that's what it leads to right there. Beautiful. Well, this week, singer Britney Spears and model actor Sam Asghari, did I pronounce that right? Okay, good. They announced their divorce over social media.
The couple had been married for 14 months before they took to social media to address the split this week. News broke when Asghari filed for divorce on Wednesday, citing irreconcilable differences. Spears and Asghari met on the set of Spears' 2016 Slumber Party music video. The pair were engaged in September 2021. Shortly before, Spears' father, Jamie, filed a petition to end the conservatorship. Of course, that was big in the news. He was very supportive of her getting freed from that conservatorship, and now they have split.
Oh, well.
This week, a crashed Ferrari was sold at auction for close to $1.9 million.
The remains of the 1954 Ferrari Mondial Spider series have been stored a storied past that attracted an undisclosed buyer. The car was shipped to the U.S. in 1958, where during a race in the 1960s it crashed and later burned. The car changed ownerships multiple times before residing in a barn in Florida with 20 other Ferraris. The car then received further damages when the barn was destroyed by Hurricane Charlie in 2004. The car was sold as part of the Lost and Found collection.
So why does it get $1.9 million?
I have no idea at all whatsoever. Unless it was owned by somebody really famous.
I don't know. Okay. Maybe somebody please send me a message and explain
I'd say that's
that
a
one
salvage
to me.
title at this point.
Well, here's the latest buzz. Today also is World Honey Bee Day.
It's a time to celebrate the humble insect that brings you all of those wonderful colors in the spring. Of course, flowers aren't the only joy bees bring your day. Grab a spoonful of honey to help honor World Honeybee Day. The nuanced flavors of honey are influenced by whatever plants the honey trees visited to make. Honey bees visited to make. Some people also believe using local honey helps control allergies. If a honeybee happens to land on your food, drink, or even on you, just let it go about its business. It'll soon move on. They're not quick to sting unless they perceive a threat. So now you know that.
All right, stick around for KUSI's full coverage of high school football. That's going to be Mission Hills High School taking on Granite Hills. That's at 6 p.m. And then, of course, tomorrow we will have full coverage. Diane, Mark Mathis, as we prepare for Hurricane Hilary. All right, thanks for joining us. Have a great day.